Hello and welcome to Confidently Wrong, a show by regular dudes talking with confidence about content we have no right to speak about with any kind of authority, but do it anyway. I'm Wesley Nakamura, and as always, I'm joined by award-winning director Brian Redondo at Savon Jones, aka Captain Vonnie. This is episode 191, and we have a chance to talk about what we're loving this week. I'm confident that it's going to be the best show you've ever listened to, and well, hey, if it's not, you can always ask us for a refund.
Incredible!
Hello, gentlemen! Welcome back. It's Confidently Wrong. Last show we got to talk about Ironheart. By the time you hear this, the last 3 episodes of Ironheart will have been released, but we will not have seen them yet because we are recording before that.
I'm gonna guess that my future self is gonna be like, okay,
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. I can give it a solid 7 out of 10 at this point.
That's my prediction.
7.5 out of 10. Savon, how you doing today?
I'm hanging in there.
You heading to the farmer's market today, getting some berries and tea? No, you're not farmer's market.
He's stocked up.
I'm going to sleep after this.
Oh yeah, you said you didn't get enough sleep last night. I'm sorry about that.
He was up late.
Are you guys
demon
melting?
things.
Wait, are you guys melting? I heard the weather on the East Coast is like bad. I don't know if Detroit is also bad.
Well, it's not good. I'll tell you what.
Y'all getting cooked out there?
Yeah, it's been. I mean, it's better today. It's like 80, but the last few days has been the 90s and muggy, and it's just like.
Oh, living in Texas.
Yeah, it's like
it's
man,
90 here every day.
Who did I piss off?
Who in your past life?
Is this for all? Is this for
Mephisto,
all the black?
clearly, you went back on the deal.
Is this for all the blasphemy?
If you and Tony make it for the long term, you might be stuck in Detroit, bro.
I bet you could convince her to
all
leave.
All the blasphemous statements. It's probably just what the heat's.
Brian I heard New York is getting cooked, so I know y'all are trying to stay indoors as much as possible.
Welcome to the Weather Podcast, where we talk about scorching heat across the United States.
Oh man, it's a big deal right now. Actually, me and Jen are leaving to a not very hot place. We're gonna go to Scandinavia tomorrow with the girls. It's gonna be interesting to try and travel that many hours on a trapped enclosed space with 2 babies. So we'll see how that goes.
What is going to happen to their sense of time, right? Like, how does jet lag affect the babies
when they don't have any
Especially-
sense of time?
Yeah, and you're going to a place that has like 20 hours of sunlight during
We looked
the
it up.
summer.
Yeah, it's like 19 hours of sunlight.
Oh my god, you're gonna be wearing sunglasses at 11 o'clock at night.
They're gonna get wrecked.
Sunset is 10:30. Sunrise is 3:30.
Oh my god, your kids are not sleeping. This sounds like torture.
Oh yeah,
That boy lost a bet.
but they'll have had the experience of I don't know what we actually don't know what to expect when we go here. I have done no research.
What do you
on this
remember
place.
from being that age?
We're just growing.
Yeah, they're not gonna remember.
What do you remember
anything
from
about
being
this
this age?
Nothing. 3 years old. 3 years old is probably when I first start having memories. Like I broke my arm or my collarbone when I was 3, so I kind of remember that. But
Damn, that's
very
terrible.
very few
That's your
memories.
first
Collarbone?
That's
Yeah.
his first memory.
I fell off.
Did somebody
off.
have you in an arm bar? What happened?
No, I fell off the back of some like bicycle situation at school, and the kid it was like a trailer, so I was sitting in the trailer, and the kid just like made a sharp turn, and I just got flung out, and landed on my shoulder or something, broke it, and then like 6 months later, I broke the other collarbone by falling out of my bed while I was sleeping.
Yeah, man.
Skill
So I
issue.
did the double
You
deuce
weren't
in less than a year.
So
you
did your,
weren't drinking the
so
milk.
did your
at
parents have to
pre-K.
put like a guardrail in your bed, like a fucking bowling alley?
Like a bowling alley, yeah. I think we could get one after that.
Gotta put the rails.
Everything
up.
was bumpered.
Gotta put the rails up for Wes.
Got to put a bubble on him.
Yeah, they just put him in bubble wrap like the
Yeah.
Michelin Man.
Floaties everywhere. All right, let's get into it. So we're doing a short episode, I believe, this week. We're going to talk about what we're loving. Dun, 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 dun. Is that how it goes? No, wait. What is the...
What we're loving. I don't even remember. I don't listen. to that
What
shit.
we're loving.
Yeah, you claimed on that The Last of Us pod that you don't listen to pods that you're not on. And I was like, he doesn't listen to the pod when he is on it. I don't know
So
what
my
distinction we're
statement is
making.
still true.
But you used it as a way to like make a
The
point.
statement is still
"Ah."
true.
He was
don't listen.
He was technically right, but the spirit,
You were there. You were present, so you did hear it.
He was-
I
Already.
listened at some point. I listened in person.
He was right in the most technical sense, Wes, but probably the worst form of being right.
Yeah,
But
no.
you're
Does that
right.
count as lying?
You're right in the worst way
Do you guys
possible.
consider that lying?
Oh my
Is it
God!
lying?
Please don't open
Half
this.
truth.
Please don't do this conversation. Me and Wes had a whole conversation about
Is that lying?
being wrong and lying are two different things. And this MF was acting like I was dropping some.
The troll was strong in me that day.
Go
It was
troll
so good.
yourself. Go fall in a ditch.
Did you just say
Alright.
fall in a dick?
Yeah,
Oh my
I said
God.
a ditch. A ditch. A hole. Preferably a long
Can you imagine
one.
if there was a penis
random
large
dick?
enough to swallow you? Like that's crazy.
Moving on.
Oh,
Oh
that's
my goodness.
Gen
Moving-
V season 2.
All right, so who's doing what we're loving first? I'll go. F it.
What we're loving.
What I'm loving right now is for fans of Firm Software games, Elden Ring, very fun series, came out several years ago. The DLC came out I think a year or so ago too. They have
You and Brian loved it,
they have
but didn't finish it. Well, Brian didn't finish it.
Savon probably New Game Plus it,
Yeah.
finished it 3 times. Am I
Yeah.
wrong?
But so the developers of the game, because I guess they're in the development cycle between the next major sequel in that series, they took a bunch of the assets from Elden Ring and made a spin-off game called Elden Ring Night Reign. It's its own separate game. It's $40. It's a spin-off. And the premise is that you still have the basic Elden Ring gameplay. So folks who've played these, Dark Souls style games, still very kind of more slow, deliberate, heavy combat with weapons against, lots of strong bosses. But Night Reign mixes up the formula by combining some multiplayer elements along with some battle royale elements, along with some roguelite elements for a very interesting experience. And so for folks who aren't familiar with all those different terms I've thrown out just now.
Yes, please explain.
Yeah, so
I have no idea what.
So
any of that
normally
meant.
Elden Ring, you make a character, you go around exploring, hunting, beating bosses, beating the story. In this game, similar, but you're dropped into a map, like a static, unchanging map with 2 other players, and instead of making your own character, you play as these pre-made characters, almost like a hero shooter. So the characters exist already. It's a roguelite in that you spend time looting and getting gear that you're not gonna, you build up gear, progressively better gear for each run, but whenever you do a run, you functionally start off with nothing. That's like a defining element of the genre. And so you combine those things where now you're jumping in with friends, multiple folks. You have a boss that you have to hunt. Like a battle royale, you're in a huge map full of loot, places to get gear, items, mini quests, whatever, to prepare you for the eventual boss fight. The ring is closing, Wes, so Apex style, the ring is shrinking and your space is limited, so you have to figure out where to go, where to loot, fighting officially.
So there's like a limited, the game ends.
Yes.
Is that based on time?
Yes, it is. So the game has rounds that function as days essentially, and for each day you have time to, like, as the map shrinks, to fight, upgrade your weapons, find weapons, loot, whatever it is.
How many people are in the ring?
3. It's 3 players and it's co-op. It's PvE, and this is a PvE game. So you drop it's battle royale in a sense that it's a shrinking ring and you're looting for materials to get stronger for later rounds. But co-op in that you're not against other people. It's you and 2 other real life folks doing it together. So throughout the rounds, you go around, you loot, you get up gear, you try to get stuff that might be good for the specific boss because you'll know what their strengths and weaknesses are. And eventually it culminates with you fighting the boss. And like typical Elden Ring Soulsborne combat, it's dramatic, challenging, cinematic, all that beautiful shit, but
automatic,
but fast. But it's
and you gotta like frame.
It's greased lightning.
Yeah,
right?
but it's fast paced. But it's fast paced, faster paced with friends, and has the roguelike battle royale twist, which really keeps things refreshing because you really have to be moving fast, constantly looting, keeping up with your friends, working together. But yeah, I've been playing that. I haven't gotten hyper deep because I have a lot of other stuff on my plate, or just things and other stuff I'm playing. But it's been very fun. It's been very refreshing. And it's one of those, I haven't finished it yet, but as I get around through finishing it, I know that I'm going to have fun with it. And
okay. How can you finish it if it's like restarts? Like, couldn't you just keep playing over and over again?
Each run, so you do expeditions. That's like you doing the multiple rounds to fight a boss. But there's like 10 different bosses.
Oh, okay. And then you run out of bosses.
Yeah, but then it unlocks.
Okay.
But then there's more bosses to unlock, and then there's still the co-op element of you helping other players. And then as you do runs, you do get certain upgrades that are permanent. So even if you defeat a boss, you're still incentivized to do runs because you can still build up a larger cache of gear to make later runs better. You know, you might beat all the bosses, but Brian, you might need an upgrade for, you might want a permanent upgrade for this that can help you with a different run. So you're still incentivized to keep doing it. And they've been releasing limited time bosses that, for X amount of weeks, a stronger variant of the boss is available just to keep people kind of in and out. But yeah, it's a refreshing take of, I've played roguelites before. I've played battle royales. I've played, Soulsborne. Never quite seen them all mesh together like this. And it was something fun and refreshing and a cool thing to do with assets from a game that, like, hey, we have all these assets. Let's just reuse them and make something fun. So shout out to them for being, being, you don't have, we got good resources. Let's make us a quick game and sell it for $40 while we make our mainstream title. I like that. I love them.
I like that it's co-op. Mike's been playing. It's been cool.
Yeah,
Seeing
he's been
like
on that
I spectated.
Apologies to deviate, but I just want to point out to our audience, the listening audience that don't have the pleasure of seeing what's going on, is that basically while Savon is explaining this video game, Wes has spent too much time with children and has just been changing his background over and over and then like smiling at his own his own video, looking at himself and then like flashing his Lakers jersey. Like he got up to flash his Lakers jersey as this man is describing what he's loving at the moment. Like,
we're not even talking about basketball.
Where is your attention right now?
We're not even talking about basketball.
I was trying to remember my question, which was, is it rogue light or rogue like?
Those are two different things.
What? There's two different things? I thought it was the same thing. Okay, which one are you saying?
Rogue. Wait, actually, is it? No, it's rogue light. Rogue light.
Lights. Okay. Light. Like LITE, LIGHT.
Yes. In a roguelite, every time you do an expedition run in this game, you start off with essentially nothing. And then you might have a bunch of badass weapons. You beat or lose the boss. You go back to the main thing. You do another run. You start off with nothing. Besides some base upgrades you can get. And that's the incentive to make yourself stronger from the baseline. But
are there microtransactions in this $40
No, these games have never had. No, the firms
terrific.
The games never had.
We're in favor.
Are there mini bosses? Like, are there other enemies in the ring that are preventing you from getting the good gear?
Yes, the entire point is that you have to fight mini bosses to get good gear. You're doing a bunch of looting and fighting and whatnot, but like, okay, so Brian, for example, like I think the sometimes random dragons from the story that you fought in the story might appear as a mini boss. You got to fight that mini boss, you and your friends, and beat them. But when you
Those dragons are obnoxious.
Yeah, but you fight them. But you'll fight. In fact, the goal is to probably fight as many mini bosses as you can because it's a good way to get resources and upgrades for your character and all that. So like when I played this with Mike before, we're running around. The first thing we're trying to do is we don't even fight regular enemies. We're beelining to mini bosses because you need to fight them, get experience, get loot, get shit, do it around the map as it shrinks so that you can just be as strong as possible for the end. Because if you're not efficient, you'll be under leveled and then the final boss will cook you. And it's not fun to do, a long 30-minute run to fail at the end.
My God,
and have nothing to show for it but a fat L. So,
because in Elden Ring, when you fight a boss, you can just go like over and over and over. You die like 150 times.
And you can do that too. You can do that too here.
Yeah,
you can do that too here. But you got to do the expert. You got to do the expert.
You got to do the other stuff beforehand.
So all three of us could boot this game up, play it. We're doing round 2. It went well. Round 1, it went well. We get to the final boss. Wes could be the last one who dies at the final hit. We got to start that shit over from round 1, nothing again, and try and get back on that horse. But
hardcore.
But it's a roguelite, so the loot and gear is always dynamic, so it doesn't really get stale because you're not using the same stuff, right? It's always procedurally generated loot. So that's what keeps it interesting, is that no run's ever going to be the same. So
do you have
different the mini bosses
still? Different classes still?
Yeah,
different classes of characters.
Yeah, the classes of the pre-made characters fit into various classes you see within the game, so you can still pick a fighting style and they have unique skills and whatnot. So it's a mix of knowing your character, knowing general mechanics, but also being flexible enough with most of the game's weapons because you just don't get to pick what you're going to have. So you got to be ready to, use whatever. But it's been fun. It's been refreshing. I love when a game can do a nice, affordable spin-off using already made assets to keep the masses fed with some good content. So I'm enjoying it.
And it all takes place in the world of Elden Ring. Like all the enemies that you're facing, all of that stuff is familiar, right?
Most of the enemies and almost all the weapons you will recognize if you played the game. Like I played and I was like, oh cool, I know this. I know all the weapons and skills because it's all taken from the base game. Most of the enemies too, a few new ones, but again, the main thing is that they're taking pre-existing content. It's really, you don't go into this looking for the new monsters, although there are a bunch of new ones. It's more about the just revamped gameplay, a totally different gameplay loop.
But the bosses are new though.
Yeah, a lot of the bosses.
You're not fighting Melina again.
Not Melina, but certain mini bosses and field bosses you fight again because they were kind of more generic. A lot of the major bosses are original. They're not from, like, the major expedition bosses are originals to the game. They made new bosses for that.
And so tell us about like the co-op element, right? So like something that I love about co-op games is like when you really have to think collectively about how you take down the boss. Like one player has to do, has to like tie them
that
down.
Is important. That is important. That is important. The different builds have different strengths. Some are better at blocking. There's one that's better at, like there's an arrow build that's good for long range. You've played enough Elden Ring already to know between flying enemies and dragons and shit, there are certain enemies who are a pain to fight on foot swinging up close and ones who are a pain to fight at distance. So just because some bosses fly, some bosses it's a 2-on-3 or if they split up or whatever, you do need to vary up your tactics. When I was playing, our conversation was folks like, hey, we need to switch up who we're using because we actually need to hit more for this boss, or we need someone who can hit from distance. So like you are encouraged to have to mix up your tactics. If you try to just one trick a character, you can probably do it, but it's going to be a lot harder. Everyone I know who's playing plays different characters to fit the different needs of the run.
Nice.
That sounds super fun. I would play it if I had friends.
It's hard. It's not as hard as Elden Ring because you can jump people, but
no,
it is still challenging.
Savon would be like, "What the fuck did you just do?"
Nah, man.
You ruined it.
I play video games. I play video games with Wes, Brian. I don't think I can get frustrated anymore.
I thought Wes is like pretty decent at Rivals.
Wes is good at video games. He doesn't read anything. Wes is good at video games. There was never a point I was like, Wes is bad. Wes will just play a character for 2 years and then I say something about the character and he's like, oh, I didn't know they could do that. I'm like,
True statements.
Wes is good at video games. That's why I'd be so mad. I'm like, dude, you don't suck, so why are you doing this to me? But yeah.
A nice even-handed compliment and insult all in one. I love that.
It's more compliment. It's not an insult because I have expectations of you. The real insult will be I expect nothing from you, Wes. That's the insult. Anyways,
all right.
That's all you play. What you loving?
If you got 10 seconds, who's a good candidate for this game? But short, because we gotta move it on long.
I think Brian would enjoy this game. It's a little fast paced, but like it's hard. I don't know.
It sounds like it's hard.
It's not as hard as the regular game though. So like I don't know shit.
Really? Not as hard as the regular game?
You can jump people with your friends. That makes it so much easier, bro. I don't care how strong a boss is.
Yeah,
3-on-1 is 3-on-1. I don't care what you say. I think anyone who
and then it's just like a chemistry class project. Somebody does all the work.
I mean,
I'll get the A.
If you're someone who just likes PvE games in general and just like to play co-op game with your friends, this is a good one, especially if you're into like the Elden Ring type style. But if you play FromSoft games, this is a good, not super expensive option to try it out or play it and try something a little different.
Cool. All right,
Wes, you should try it.
I should try it. I feel like I'd be bad at it because you know how Savon says like you got to read. Like I feel like Elden Ring is all reading.
You have to read. Or I could read for you, but I'm not going to.
I read enough for work. All right. I'll do mine and then we'll get into Brian's because Brian's got a new thing. It's not even just a content, it's a thing. So mine is a
puberty.
I didn't say event, I said thing. Mine is a sitcom-ish kind of show. It's on Apple TV and it kind of asks the question, what if well-meaning but somewhat incompetent and deeply flawed characters are in charge of making a video game, and that it's mostly a comedy with a few heart-tugging moments, but mostly a comedy. Kind of, it's not Office style, but it's like The Office in terms of like
Is it a mockumentary?
Yeah, it's not a
Like The
mockumentary.
Office?
No, it is not. That's what I'm saying. It's not that style of show, but it is about an office where people are a little bit absurd, you know, in
This is the
certain
Always Sunny.
ways.
This is the Always Sunny people. This is Charlie Day and
It is. Rob McElhenney. So this is this TV show is called Mythic Quest, and they've done 4 seasons so far. I didn't think I was interested in the show, and I just kind of turned it on. I've been watching Welcome to Wrexham, which
You just wanted to see Rob's face again.
and I was like, yeah, I'll check out Rob. He's pretty funny. And I never got into Sunny. That I don't think that's my kind of. I don't know. I guess I've never seen it. So, but it didn't seem like my kind of show. And so I checked this one out, and I've really been enjoying it. It's not like A++ prestige television. It's not even trying to be that kind of show. It's really just trying to be like a workplace comedy around like the stupid things that you have to do as an office, but also like, you know, the ridiculous kind of like bosses you're gonna have or coworkers you're gonna have sometimes, and takes them out to a caricature level oftentimes. And still gives them like a nice centered, you know, heart for most of them, like gives them a real like they're a little bit more 3-dimensional than that, right? They're not just caricatures, but they do have some caricature type qualities. Like one of the characters is he's supposed to be like the manager in the office, but he's constantly dealing with his own insecurity and not feeling like he has any control. And they tie it back to his like upbringing in like a kid of divorce, and so he's always like he's always making comments about how like mom and dad are fighting and stuff like this, and like that's kind of his trope, and he's kind of like this weak, meek you know, manager that doesn't really manage very well, and he's always trying to, you know, he puts on this big air, and then it like flops in his face because he's, you know, not good at it. And so that's the kind of show that, and he's
Do you
got
relate
like,
to that, Wes?
ridiculous
There's
mustache.
something about that speaks to you.
No, he doesn't speak to me so much. I relate to this other one. There's one of the main characters is a developer. She's a coder. She's really great at like building the games out. She's really good at building like the actual coding and doing it. But what she struggles with is she says like, I can't see it. I can't see like what makes everything like going to be good on like a big picture level. She's just very, very competent at like her job, but doesn't necessarily know how to like make something that like everybody's going to like relate to and become a big hit. And she doesn't sell things very well. She's not like great at presenting, great at talking. And so I relate to her quite a bit. Cause I'm like, yeah, like sometimes I like know how to do things, but I don't know like how to see like
yeah,
have
what's
vision.
the Iron Man suit for? What are you trying to do with it?
I ain't gonna lie, Wes.
No,
you're not gonna
that's the
outrun
same
that one,
problem.
bro. That was Brian. That was West Hall of Fame. Like that was, you ain't gonna escape that one, player.
No way. I still stand by that. But
I know.
that's the same problem, because it's like I can understand how things work, is like you like know like what it is, but I don't necessarily see like what is this gonna be for, or like what is actually gonna be the thing that like brings everybody in, right? How do you motivate everybody to like really latch onto things? I can do it if I've seen it done by somebody else, but I can't necessarily like be the one that invents brand new things.
So you're a 3&D player, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
you're
I'm not the playmaker.
Yeah, I'm like,
I don't see 4 steps ahead.
Hey, look, this is what I do. I stand in the corner, I shoot, and I play defense. Stop asking me to do all this extra shit.
You even see when I play Marvel Rivals, you'd be like, okay, they've done this, like, so we're gonna do this, and like, and I'll be like, that person died? Are you sure? Like, really? Or you'll tell me like, Wes, you got your ult, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I do.
I don't want to say nothing because I don't want to say nothing because I don't
Role
want.
player.
I don't want to say nothing. Yeah, but I don't want. But yo, you don't because I don't have to put my hand up this man's ass like a puppet.
So she tries. She kind of wants to be the playmaker superstar, but doesn't necessarily feel like she has it in her to do that sometimes. And when she tries it, it doesn't always work out.
What
and
actor
there's another
is this?
character.
What's the character's name? What actor is this?
Is she socially awkward?
Her name is oh shit, it starts with a P.
Poppy
I'll get back
Lee.
to you.
Poppy Lee.
Poppy, yeah.
Don't worry. I
Poppy-
pulled up the Wikipedia for the show. Don't worry,
Oh
I got
yeah.
you.
Nah, so that's her role, but like there's her counterpart is Rob McElhenney's character, and his name is Ian, and he's kind of got the totally opposite, which is he has like great ability to like understand, oh wait, this is gonna work, and like this is the vision that we need, or like that plan isn't there yet, like let's keep figuring it out, like I think we're close. And he can see, like, I know we're close, we're not there yet, but he has no idea how to like actually physically build the game. Like when he tries to code things, it's not very good.
He's the ideas guy.
He's the ideas guy, exactly. And she's not the ideas guy, but she kind of wants to be, and she tries her hand it in. So there's lots of things that like happen with that. Anyways, love like the comedy for the most part. And they did a really interesting like COVID episode. You know how like they do a lot of shows did a COVID episode where like everybody was on Zoom because the actual actors had to like do the acting from their apartment or their house or whatever.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they did probably one of the better versions of that I've seen. Obviously, it's still not great because it's just hard to do a show like that. But they did do an interesting version of that show, that type of show, and it kind of made me like tear up a little bit because of like where they landed at the end. So it's a show. I think that the characters are relatable, likable. They're not just the caricature versions of themselves. They are, rounded out people with these caricature, like over hyperbole tendencies. So anyways, but yeah, Savon, what's your question?
Yeah, so I played a lot of like, MMO, the exact types of games that these people are, that this show is about.
What are they making, StarCraft?
No,
it's like a WoW. It's like WoW, right?
World of Warcraft, type of game.
It's like a WoW type game. So I get that, and I played those a lot when I was younger. So is this a show based around video game humor? Like, if I'm someone who's nerdy, play MMOs and all that, will there be a bunch of humor that I relate to on that? Or is it more so it's workplace humor, but the actual nature of the job isn't relevant to the type of humor? Like, you don't need to know
it's just wallpaper.
Parks and Rec ain't got to know nothing about city government or whatever to appreciate the show. Compared to like
it's
Abbott
more that because
it has
to have universal appeal. Not most people have not worked in a video game environment, and not everyone plays video games. So that's not, you don't have to like know much about video games in order to understand it. I think if
there's no teabagging jokes.
They do make jokes kind of like in the realm of that, but not necessarily teabagging jokes.
Like, knowing what you know about me, if I'm watching this show, am I laughing because it's written like just, a funny comedy, or am I laughing because it's written funny, but it's referencing like this video game humor that has some of this more niche, deep cuts that like, that'll hit different. Like, again, I'll use the example.
I'd say it's like 10% that and 90% more like the situation is the comedy.
You could not know what an MMORPG is and watch this show and still be able to like laugh and appreciate the humor and all that.
Yes.
Okay.
But I think if you know a little bit about video game culture, it kind of rounds it out a little bit. Like, they talk about the influence of like streamers. They talk about like microtransactions. They make it clear what it is. So if you don't know what it is, I mean, I think you'll get it. But if you know the hate we have for microtransactions, like, it just makes it a little bit richer.
Okay, cool. Because some shows, it's like there's Abbott Elementary where anybody could watch it, but if you work in education, some of the jokes just hit a little bit better, even if anybody can watch it.
I'd say it's like that, but I'd say it's only probably you only need about 10% to 15% of it is going to be that, and most of it's just going to be like the silliness of
someone who's a non-gamer who watches It's Always Sunny and likes the actors from this show but doesn't game could put this on and probably would still be like, oh, this is some funny shit.
I don't know if the comedy is the same as
that was my question,
because I haven't.
Sunny is kind of crass.
It's very crass,
wacky,
and dark.
And a very specific type of humor that, right? Like, I don't think plays for the
general audience,
Thursday night primetime crowd. Like, I don't think that's for them. It's not going to play next to Abbott.
It's Always Sunny.
The Sunny and Abbott crossover episode was pretty hilarious. I must say, But so like it's got the Sunny guy in it, Rob McElhenney.
I don't know. I haven't seen Sunny. I haven't seen Sunny.
And Charlie Day helped create it, so
I feel like this is maybe a little bit more on the like safer end of comedy. It's not. It's so
more like Parks
dark
and Rec
Did
sexual.
they say, what's the worst curse word did they say? Did they say shit?
Yeah, I'm sure they say shit. I actually don't know. It doesn't.
Is it TV?
I feel like
is it TV 14? Is it PG?
I feel like no. I feel like it's adult rated.
Is it?
So I think they say fuck.
Okay.
I think they're saying fuck sometimes.
That's a big deal.
Yeah. So it's an adult show. Like, I think I've like tried to watch it around like Kaya, and then I was like, oh, I can't watch this around Kaya. So,
all right. My next question about like how to gauge the humor. I know you're a big fan of Ted Lasso.
Love Ted Lasso.
And I find Ted Lasso to have more heart than humor. Is that also the case with Mythic Quest?
No, they're definitely going for comedy here. They're no. Most of the episodes are not about like a character transformation.
Thank God. I don't love that in my comedy.
Occasionally there is stuff like that where people will grow or develop a little bit, but for the most part, it's just they're just in silly situations and they have to deal with it.
You want more heart, Brian?
I want less heart in a comedy.
Okay, you saying this show the comedy trying to be all like, oh, all right, kumbaya. I'm like, yo, I ain't trying to hear that shit. It's a comedy. Make me laugh.
Yeah, that's how I feel about Ted Lasso. I'm like, I can't sit through this.
I don't need this.
It's just like everybody wanting to give hugs to each other.
Is it too kumbaya at the end? Where is everybody?
No, yeah, this one. He said Ted Lasso is too kumbaya, but this one is not that. I think you would enjoy this one. Just it's a popcorn show. It's not super deep. It's just funny.
No, you actually might have sold me on this.
Yeah.
This might be what pushes me to get Apple TV. Maybe
they talk about like diversity in gaming and stuff like that, or lack thereof. They talk about
black elves.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like a good funny show about a world that like I kind of am adjacent to, right? Because I play video games, even if I've never like made a video game or worked in a studio that did. They did.
That reminds me of a Seinfeld episode where George Costanza is trying to look for a job, and he's like, "Maybe I could work for the Yankees." And he's like, "I like baseball. I don't know anything about baseball, but I think I could work there."
I mean, that's kind of what it is, right? Oh, the other thing is the show is not afraid to take kind of interesting risks or choices. So, like in the first season, one of the episodes about halfway through completely abandons the established world. We end up focusing on like these two other people that we have no idea what they're about or where they come from, and ultimately they're only kind of tangentially related to the actual show. Like even it doesn't really like pay off super tight, right? It's just kind of like they exist in the same universe, but the show tone is totally different. I read reviews on it, and people like at the time, this was probably 2019. People really loved it. They were like, "Wow, this is probably one of the best episodes that we've seen so far from the show." But interesting that it was like in episode 5, they were just like, "We're scrapping the whole thing, and we're doing this totally different episode with totally different characters that you have no idea who they are or what context they have, and we're not going to explain it at all." And it was just like, and then episode 6, they go right back to normal. So it's like really interesting that they've kind of made those kind of choices. I don't know that I would have made that choice as the creator, but it was just like the show is not afraid to just like do something that's different. Although by the end, I'm at the end of season 3, I think, or beginning of season 4. I feel like it's starting to get a little bit stale. Like you're kind of like, okay, the jokes are kind of similar now. Like we get it, and the characters haven't quite expanded enough to generate new jokes, and so we're kind of in the same genre of things. So I think it probably season 4 is good enough at this point. I don't know if they're going to keep making it, and they're still making Sunny. I looked at
yeah.
They've been going at it for like 20 years.
They're in season 17, so he's doing 2 different shows plus Welcome to Wrexham. Like that's crazy to do that much, creating and writing and working. Like he must be just exhausted all the time.
Yeah, I'll just take the money and be happy. But hey,
he's probably just drunk.
All right, so I
think that's all it takes to make it Sunny.
Yeah. Okay.
BT dubs.
I don't know. I've been really enjoying it. Oh, I also wanted to mention I saw Lilo and Stitch. Not as good as the animated one, but not bad.
No kidding.
Yeah, but I didn't see the other live action things that Disney has put out. Those all got panned like universally. I think this one it's worth watching, especially if you enjoyed the original one.
Especially if you have 2 children under the age of 5.
They wouldn't sit through it. I think they'd be scared of it. Because there's just
wait, you saw it without them?
Oh yeah, I just went by myself and saw it.
Oh,
I love
Wes.
Lilo and Stitch. That's one of my favorite movies.
So go watch Lilo and Stitch.
Why? By yourself?
Yeah, bro.
You were a single rider at the family movie? Oh,
yeah,
man. The remake of the family movie.
I hope you sat in the back.
I just sat in the middle. I don't know. It wasn't very crowded. It had already been out for what, like 4 weeks or something at this point. But enjoyable. I don't know. I liked it. They made a couple of choices that I don't think they should have changed. Like they split up. Do you remember the Cobra Bubbles character?
Yeah.
The one that's
No,
like.
I'm stuck on thinking about the conversation you had with Jen to go watch this movie by yourself. Like, could you watch the kids so I could watch a kids movie without the kids?
Oh, I just went during the day. They're at daycare.
Hey, babe, what'd you do today? Went and saw Lilo and Stitch.
Yeah, worth it. Is $8? Well spent $8.
I heard they cut Gantu.
They did cut Gantu.
So they cut.
So that was an interesting choice.
So they cut
and that
Gantu and Bubbles, two of the best characters.
no, they have
Are those the aliens that are chasing Stitch?
Gantu. Yeah, is the big whale shark guy that's kind of like dead set on catching Stitch.
The experiment.
Yeah, that guy, and he's really tall and he has a deep voice. And then but Cobra Bubbles is in it. But they kind of changed it in a way that I didn't love. They made it so, if you remember the original one, he was like, he was both a social worker, and then it turns out he was also undercover as like an alien.
Yeah, he was like
CIA person expert.
He was on some Men in Black shit.
Kind of, yeah. And they split his character up, so he was only a CIA agent, like kind of investigating this anomaly. And he doesn't show up until a little bit later in the movie than he did in the animated one. And then they have a separate person who's the social worker. And I don't think that worked. I think it was much better that it was the same person that had this like secret role that we find out later that they were doing. That was like one of the key parts of the movie. And so splitting it up into two people didn't actually work for that. So that was one of the main things. And then the other thing that didn't work was like Zach Galifianakis plays Jumba, who is the guy, the mad scientist. And that just they made the character a little bit different in a way that just I felt like didn't actually mean anything or work in any way. And it was just kind of inconsistent. But other than that, I thought it was pretty cool. Like the moments between the sisters were really good. Better than the animated series. And then the moments where like there's more peril, right? There's like danger or whatever, like these moments of peril is a good way of putting it. Hit harder in the live action one because they're just real people and real characters that you're seeing on screen. But anyways, I didn't want to give a whole review. I just wanted to say I say it. I think
you gave a whole
good.
Review.
You guys kept asking questions. Don't ask questions. Okay,
I was gonna knock you. What? One more, Jesus.
Okay, one more.
I was gonna knock you for like over analyzing this kids movie, but I have a feeling there are people in my life who are knocking me for over analyzing kid shit, as in superhero stuff. Anyway, what is
Okay.
your one more?
The
Wes?
one more is I saw
loving too much.
I saw the F1 movie, which is made by kind of the same team that did Top Gun
That
Maverick.
did Lilo and Stitch.
Also the same team that did Lilo and Stitch, surprisingly. It's the same team that did the the Top Gun Maverick movie, which I really enjoyed and I thought was like a really good sequel to the original Top Gun. Just in terms of like the way they built the story, the action, the plot didn't matter, but the people were like really charismatic and like really cool. This one did not hit the mark, and so I would say
that's disappointing.
Yeah, this one is a wait for it to go on streaming.
Is the racing at least really cool? Because the best part about Top Gun Maverick was, the
flying, right?
Yeah.
I don't think they didn't quite capture it. There is cool racing, but if you want to see a good racing or a fun, entertaining racing movie, actually just go watch not Tropic Thunder, Days of Thunder. It's a Tom Cruise movie from like the early '90s, and it's basically Top Gun but in NASCAR. Way better. So if you're
like the Ford versus Ferrari, I thought the racing
very different kind of racing movie than Tropic Thunder. Tropic Thunder, or not
Tropic Thunder,
different movie completely. Days of Thunder is
Robert
really
Downey
just
Jr. in blackface.
Literally just the Top Gun movie, but like you put it in NASCAR, and it stars Tom Cruise and everything. So, it works. So if you want to see like a very cool racing movie, I think that one is it. Ford versus Ferrari, also very good.
Clearly, the
F1,
missing ingredient was Tom Cruise.
Maybe. If F1, that's a wait for it to come on streaming.
What if you don't care about F1 or race cars at all? Is there any reason
you don't need to see it?
Then F it.
Nah, pass it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's not that good. I mean, I would say 3 stars. It was good. I mean, it was like well put together, well produced. The acting is fine. Story is like okay. Comedy is okay.
Look, I won't hate. Y'all can have y'all Vroom Hot Wheel movie. I'm gonna let y'all y'all eat.
I'm glad I saw it, and I'm glad I saw it in like a Dolby Cinema theater because the sound design was awesome. But like, it's not a must-see. That's all. Okay, Brian.
Speaking of racing movies,
what are we loving?
The one that I want to see is the adaptation to Mario Kart World Yeah, yeah. Is that coming out? Are they making that? Zach Galifianakis going to be in that one?
No,
That
Chris
would be
Pratt.
terrible.
That'd be Chris Pratt.
I do not want to see a Mario Kart movie.
They basically had the Mario Kart movie in the Super Mario movie.
Yeah, they
right?
had,
There's
yeah, they had a.
There's a whole Mario Kart scene.
Yeah, they had.
in
It,
that.
it
Oh,
was
okay,
like,
that's fine.
between
Do
that,
that,
they had
but
like
don't make a whole
they
movie
had
about
that.
it.
They had like low-key a Smash Brothers sequence on the Sling.
I still haven't seen
You haven't seen the Super Mario movie?
Kaya has seen more of that movie than I have seen.
You went to go
It's-
see the Lilo and Stitch remake
I
in
know,
our
by
Lord's year
yourself.
of 2025.
Lilo and Stitch came out in 2002.
By
So this was
yourself.
when is 2002? That was when we graduated high school, right? Or when I graduated
You
high
could
school.
have saved that $8 and watched the Super Mario movie at home on Netflix.
Yeah, but Lilo and Stitch is better.
is it?
No, nobody gave Super Mario World great reviews.
It was fun.
Brian, please don't take
it's not the
debate.
best
Please don't
movie,
take debate of
but,
Debate
you
in West
know.
about the Lilo and Stitch remake.
I love Lilo and Stitch.
Me too.
It was-
Anyway,
And I love the way they did Stitch in this
anyways,
movie.
Brian, what are you loving?
anyway, cue the Oscar speech music for
Oh my
Wes
God.
over here.
Y'all are haters.
Uh,
It was decent. I'd go see it.
What we're loving is my new toy. I finally got myself
Ew, we don't need to hear
a
about your new
Nintendo
toy.
Switch 2
Oh, okay.
and a bottle of lube. I mean, and Mario Kart World that came with it. It was a bundle.
A bundle.
Shout out to my sister Bernadette, who's basically. Do you know the guy? You guys know the term FIRE, which is like financially.
Oh yeah, independent, retire
retired
early. She did that?
Like she's like
Almost
she's
there?
kind of in that realm. She's kind of in that realm. So she was just like idling on a random Wednesday in New York City, walking around. She happened to walk by the Nintendo store in Manhattan and saw that there was a line and that people were lining up for the Switch 2. And
Oh.
she knows that I have regretfully been like sniffing around for
Have you?
one of these consoles ever since it launched. Because I missed the pre-launch.
Yeah.
I did not
didn't
put in
pre-order?
any pre-orders.
Okay.
And then my homie got it the day of, right? It was delivered to him and was like, yo, let's play it. And we sat on the couch and just rocked out to Mario Kart for like an hour and a half. And it was so much fun. It
Really?
was so much fun. And I was like, oh my God, I want to Switch 2 now. Why didn't I get the Switch 2? I got swept up. In Switch 2 fever. So I've been looking for it. My sister picked it up for me random Wednesday this week.
Oh, that's awesome.
Thank you very much.
Not bad.
Hey, Bernadette.
and
Wait,
so
if
now-
she's
now I got
financially
it.
wealthy, did
Now I
she
got it.
spot you? Like, was it a gift?
Oh hell no, it was
Oh,
not.
okay.
A gift.
Okay.
She spotted me in that she's not charging interest for the
Yeah.
money that she spent to
or the
buy it.
time that she spent.
Or the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
That
pretty-
was
that's pretty
that
fair
came
to-
free,
that's
not
pretty-
at a premium.
That's pretty fair to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Yeah, you're
I'll
coming
take
out
it.
ahead here. Yeah.
I'll take it. Yeah. I
Save
did
some
not have
work.
to spend a lot of effort to get
All
one
right.
of these things.
Thanks, Bernadette.
And I'm happy to report, right, that the Switch 2, if you guys have not been able to, grasp one in your hands, is basically the original Switch, but just amped up.
It's
right?
embiggened. I
it's
played it
not
at
like-
Best Buy. It's bigger.
So it's like a
it's
Switch
bigger.
2?
It's bigger in the hands. Like, it feels better. The screen is just like crazy. For one thing, it fills up the whole screen, right? Like the original Switch.
It fills up the hole.
You can do a lot of things with this if you want, but like the image quality is just way better, right? Like, I
Yeah.
think I've read that essentially the horsepower within the Switch 2 is very similar to a PS4. So if you could imagine that level of technology in a handheld, and you're getting like a high output screen resolution, I think at handheld it's like 1080 or something like that, but I'm pretty sure it's doing 4K when docked onto a TV screen. Don't quote me on those things.
Doesn't
All I
matter.
can tell you is
It doesn't
that
matter.
it feels and looks great.
Nice.
Right? It's much bigger. The controllers are bigger. It doesn't have the sliding situation on the side of the screen, right? It's magnets now.
Does that work? Like, it doesn't fall off?
Oh, totally. It's
Okay.
just like on and off real quick. And it just feels more substantial, and it feels It feels weighty. It feels expensive. And I'm
You're like
happy.
MKBHD right now, where he was talking about the AirPod Max, and he was like, "They're metal. It's just made of metal."
Yeah.
Well, it feels substantial.
It feels good, right?
That's not what we care about. Does it work? Does it sound good?
Sometimes when you get a luxury item and it feels luxurious, like that's part of the fun.
Important.
That's part of the fun.
No, for sure.
But all that's to say, Mario Kart World on the Switch 2 is just like fucking awesome. It is.
It doesn't
so
feel
much
just
fun.
like boring. Like it's not boring, but like it doesn't feel like just a repeat of previous Mario Karts.
Well, which is how I often feel about Mario Karts, and I don't think I even ever owned a Mario Kart game before. Right? It was always just like
they're all kind of the same.
Play at somebody else's house.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
It's just a racing game. It's just a racing game. But now playing this, like jumping into this version on the Switch 2, not having played any of the recent iterations of it, like it is just bananas. It's bananas because like you just have now there's online play, there's couch co-op play. You can do things where you like hook up other Switches around you, so you can have a whole LAN party situation,
but wireless.
But on wireless, but on online play, you're playing with 24 other competitors, and the way that the circuits, the tracks are laid out, right? They're not even.
That's an F1 term, Brian.
They're not even like they're not even a track anymore, right? You're not doing laps. You're actually going from one locale to another, right? That's the whole world aspect of it. So like you might choose like King Koopa's castle and you're going to like Peach's summer getaway. But the course is that you are driving along the roadway or highway that gets you to that destination where there is more roadway as part of the course,
all
right?
So right, all the maps.
So it's all connected, and then on those connected strips, you're encountering tons and tons of obstacles. You're encountering like roadside traffic, animals, dinosaurs, like robots that are like Donkey Kong robots that are throwing giant barrels at you, plus all the 23 other competitors who are on screen also flinging turtle shells and banana peels and all that nonsense. So there's a billion things happening on screen all at once, and the game is just moving at lightning speed. So it is a really wild, fantastic play. And then every course, of course, is extremely over the top Nintendo style, right? Like you're doing loops, you're flying over the place. A lot of courses you're going through water, like it's Wave Race. And the game has added new mechanics that also add to the level of fun. So, in other Mario Kart games I played, basically you're just pressing A the whole time, right? And then steering, and that's kind of it.
You gotta do the hop turn. The hop turn.
In this, in this they have drifting, which is really fun. I don't know if they've had that before.
They have.
Yeah, and then
you gotta like wiggle the joystick to get the little flames and let it go for a mini boost.
Yeah, you get the mini boost, but then it also allows you to do all sorts of flips, right? So like forward flips, sideways flips, and those flips allow you to get onto rails to grind on, or onto walls themselves, or to other parts of the course that you wouldn't otherwise be able to get to. And so now, like, along with all the other things I'm saying, like the driving itself feels like it's really taken off, especially in online play. You see like players doing all sorts of crazy stuff just to get like little millimeters of an edge against you.
Mario Kart's sweaty,
and that's
bro.
the biggest difference. What's that?
Mario Kart Online is sweaty.
Yeah, it is really hard. I am often coming in 18th place. If I don't have if I don't have a 1 in front of the place number that I finish at, I feel like I have succeeded. I have overcome
single-digit
an Elden Ring boss.
Mario,
at that point,
you thought the games we played was sweaty,
wild.
boy. Mario Kart Online, the sweat. I used to play on my DS back on my Nintendo years. Used to Mario Kart on my DS and used to play online. Boy, you thought them people had their family tied up somewhere the way they was fighting for their life. I was like, will you die if you lose?
It is wild. It is wild. You can go like I have went from like first to like 19th in a fraction of a second. It was just crazy, and you're just fighting for every inch. And I think like the driving has gotten deeper as part of this, and that is part of what makes it sweaty and interesting.
High
And
skill,
then you
real skill, like easy to pick up, but high skill
it's
ceiling game.
yeah, high like lifetime to masters sort of situation, much like Smash Brothers, right? And I think that is what Nintendo is a master of, right? Making these things super accessible, but building them in a way that they actually have a lot of hidden depth that you can keep going at. And then, all of that bundled in this really nice, tight, sleek package where everything just feels good, looks good. The music kind of hits. And every track and course is just really exciting. There's just always fun stuff happening all over the place. It's bananas. And it just looks and feels great on the Switch too. And I am very delightful about my purchase from my own sister.
What else you getting for the Switch? What other games you getting for
Because
the
it's
Switch?
pretty good. So the other thing that I'm looking forward to on the Switch too, right, is that one, they have free upgrades, basically like kind of like upreses for lots of old Switch games, right? So it's backwards compatible.
Okay.
So there are some special upgrades for the Zelda games. So I'm looking forward to
You
trying
said
out
you
Tears of the Kingdom.
upgrade performance upgrades or like content upgrades?
Both. So apparently on the Zelda games, there's almost no loading time anymore.
Nice.
Which is, like
That's huge.
when
Spend
you
a lot
went
of
from
time in those
PS4 to
loading times.
PS5.
No, that was the
huge
biggest thing.
difference.
The biggest thing about the 5 wasn't the graphics, wasn't all that.
Yeah.
It was just, this
Load
MF
times.
is
Load
fast.
times. Gone.
Fast.
Gone, right? Like I used to play Elden Ring on PS4. Like,
Oh,
can you
my
imagine
Lord.
how awful that was?
You had that,
And then
that
suddenly-
turbine. That thing was.
Yeah, that was the only way I'd learn how to play the game, because that's when they give you all the tips. But apparently on Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, like no load times anymore. And then plus on the content side, right, they've added more backstory things that you can find in the game. They've added a few more features that help you locate these things in the game. There's a whole like phone app component to it. So you're mixing and matching the hardware.
They got the iPhone?
So, oh yeah, Breath of the Wild, he had a tablet, right? He's got the phablet.
That's right. Link had a whole iPad.
Yeah,
up in
he's
that
got a whole like Switch iPhone situation going on in that world. So I'm looking forward to that. But those upgrades cost like $10 each or whatever. But the other big thing that I'm really looking forward to that I'm going to pick up at some point is Cyberpunk is a Switch 2 launch game, a launch title. So the entirety of Cyberpunk on the handheld, right? And it comes with all the
Do you need
DLCs and
do you
all
need
that.
do you need to play? Okay, I got a question for you, big dog. And I say this as someone who loves Cyberpunk. The game's great. Do you need that on your Switch? Do you need to play
Yes!
that on the go? Do you need to play that
Absolutely.
while you? Is Cyberpunk the kind of game that you used to play while you shitting?
Yeah,
Like,
that seems like the kind of game you should like be sitting down and like on the couch enjoying.
No,
on a big
I am
screen.
not.
Like that's
Yeah.
a very big screen game. All the colors and set pieces and graphics, and you just like, nah, pal. I just want to play that under my blanket at night.
Yes. Honestly, yes. That's the biggest challenge with role-playing games, right? Is that they suck up so much time. What if,
That's what I know, so you
when
got a
you're on the
couch.
bus ride, you're on the train ride, you're on the plane ride, you're at the waiting room? That's the perfect time to play some of these games. Perfect time.
Cyberpunk 2077 on the bus is devious.
Yo, how cool is that? I think that's great.
I feel like
as long as
rather than playing some like some tiny little card game on your phone or whatever, why not play something awesome?
unpopular opinion, maybe this is a different podcast conversation. I feel like if you playing mobile games, if your shit got like, there needs to be some kind of graphical cutoff limit of just like, all right, your game look this good. Hey, play that shit, take it at home. Take it home. Take it home. If you on the bus, you need to be playing some 8-bit shit or some 2D side scroller, some Pokemon. You cannot.
If you're on an airplane, man,
no, Brian,
you're on like a 6-hour flight. Yo, that's like getting lost in a game. I'll maybe give you the 6-hour flight, but yo, you can't just be out here playing a AAA next gen console game on your Switch. But that's where we're at.
That's where we're imagine at. Brian, passenger princess, just posted up in the whip. I got some new cyberware.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to hack into this system.
Wait, because Anna's not driving.
I don't know. Can she not drive?
When they go to New Jersey, Brian's gonna have to drive it.
This is when we ourselves are fire and we just have driver.
You get a Waymo.
I'm fucking with you, but no. Cyberpunk's fun. You're gonna have a good time with
it. I totally played the Zelda games like this. Like that. It's a great way.
Zelda,
you just knock off a little bit of a mission. And then, you carry that over when you get home.
I think I'm just only saying that because I'm thinking, when I think of next gen games, like this is pretty explicitly not Nintendo. But when I think of the other systems in their AAA games, in my mind, the gravitas and presentation and graphics are a big part of it. So it's best enjoyed on a big screen compared to Nintendo games, which are still beautifully designed, don't get me twisted. But the big screen spectacle is less important. So you can enjoy a goated Zelda game on the handheld because the game isn't really selling itself as this is some cinematic shit you watching your big screen compared to my experience playing Cyberpunk of even my crew, I got the game and set up with the small monitor, but for Cyberpunk, I'm like, nah, I need the biggest visual display possible. But that's me just really giving you a hard time. I get it. But I'm also going to troll you.
I feel that way about a lot of games too, right? Like I actually think the Zelda games are incredibly cinematic and do deserve like the 60-inch TV screen treatment or beyond. That is the best way to consume them.
I like playing.
You just want to be in bed. You just want to be in bed.
However, I will say, just like the fact that you can do this on the go on the Switch 2, which is not the Switch 1, right? Like the Switch 1 on the go, maybe not so great. Like visually, Switch 2 looks good. Like, and I do want to see Cyberpunk on this particular display on the go because I do think it's just we're finally at that point in time where the hardware is just that nice.
Good enough. Yeah.
You can take it with you. You can really fit it in your pocket.
We can take it with us. Why not? Why not play it that way?
Were there any other launch games for Switch 2 besides Mario Kart?
Not really.
No, okay.
Which is part of why I didn't pre-order it in the first place. I was like, I'm not a Mario Kart.
It's kind of what you did for PS5, right? You were like, I don't really need it.
Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for some launch games. I got
Donkey Kong's supposed to come out next month. I saw.
Donkey Kong looks cool. I'm totally down for that. There's a wheelchair game that I'm actually interested in.
Oh yeah,
wheelchair basketball that comes out in August, I think.
Right.
And just like uses the controllers in a fun way. So one of the new things that the Switch 2 controllers can do is that they can be used as a mouse, right? Like you can
does it work well? It looks kind of gimmicky.
I haven't tried it because I don't have a game that has a use for it.
Yeah.
So like the wheelchair game is made to use both Switch controllers. Yeah, sliding along a tabletop.
Wheelchair basketball,
like
though.
As if you're doing wheelchair basketball.
You're supposed to be able to do it on your jeans even.
Yes. Yeah. That's the idea. I don't know. We'll see. Like I haven't had a use case for that yet. Just enjoying Mario Kart too much.
All right. Sounds good. All right, friends. Well, that's our what we're loving. What we're loving.
What we're loving.
Oh yeah, and then it has like the slot machine sounds. All right, friends, that'll do it for us. Actually, I don't know when we're gonna record next because I'm not getting back until July 11th. Hopefully nobody robs my house because I said that. Yeah,
you wish they'd want to rob your house. They're gonna steal a crib.
Superman.
Wes is the Texan in the living room with a gun.
Superman releases the day we get back, but I haven't bought tickets because I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna be like able to stay awake during a Superman after flying back from Europe. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. It's not usually hard to get a ticket. Day of if I go early. So we'll see. All right, friends. We're out of here. See you later. Bye.